Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. Let's talk facts. What's going on, Gregory? What's going on? I guess it's two Gregorys, Gregory from Texas and Gregory Barnes, and everyone else as you join live. What's going on? Man, it has been a day. I didn't get a chance to kind of watch the game until after the game was over, of course, because I had to do my day job. But the Cowboy fans, I've been kind of looking at some of the reactions out there. What's going on, Jerry? Man, the Cowboy fans are losing it. We are losing it. And it's been a rough week. It's been a rough week for the Dallas Cowboys. I can't say, feeling sorry for millionaires and things of that nature, but at the same time, me and my sons, we were having this conversation tonight, and, people don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I still say for me, money isn't enough. Money isn't enough for me. These guys are going home. Dak Prescott, he'll get a big check tomorrow. CeeDee Lamb will get a big check tomorrow. But I just got a strange feelings these people want to win. What's going on, Queen? What's going on, Jared? These people want to win. And I think it is hard on these guys because you don't think they hear stuff we're saying. You don't think they're hearing that they're getting paid all this money and they're not worth the money. They're overpaid. What are we paying them for? Dallas Cowboy fans, and I'm pretty sure Dallas Cowboy fans, I'm not going to hate too hard. Dallas Cowboy fans are probably just like a lot of fans. Anytime their favorite player isn't playing right, get rid of them, trade them, throw them out of here. First of all, we just got to stop talking like that. There is no trading Dak Prescott. So the conversations, we need to get that stuff straight right now. Dak Prescott is going nowhere. Unless Dak Prescott retires, Dak Prescott's going nowhere. CeeDee Lamb, now he can be traded, but I got a feeling that CeeDee Lamb is not going to be traded. He is not going to be traded. So there's no point in people talking about Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They're overpaid, blah, blah, blah. You know what? You can get yourself worked up, your nerves up, and all of that stuff all you want to. But those players are going absolutely nowhere. Now, the question is, as I kind of put in the thumbnail, and what's going on, Rudolph? Rudolph says, is all over for the Dallas Cowboys, 3-5, no playoffs. And I'm going to say at this point in time, I just still say for the Dallas Cowboy fans, you're going to make your mind up. You're either going to continue to watch this team and hope things get better, or whatever the case may be, you're going to roll with them, or you're going to let it drive you crazy. Because at the end of the day, there is something wrong with this team. And what we are looking at with the players is collateral damage. People keep saying this team is terrible and all these things. I think a part of it is this team is not as talented. It is the least talented team that Dak Prescott has played on. But there's something more wrong with this team. It's not just the fact that we're playing with young players. There is something wrong with this team, and it's coming from the top down. And I know people say, well, these are grown men. And grown men ought to be able to do this and do that. Man, let me tell you something. I work with grown men and grown women all the time. And everything we think grown women and grown men ought to do, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. Because whether we accept it or not, some of us have a different kind of will. I'm one of these people, I say all the time, I'm built different. Everybody's not built different. Everybody don't rise to the occasion. Everybody can't play in chaos. Everybody can't perform in a storm. Everybody can't do it. And we are watching this team just literally, we are watching it unravel right before our eyes. Unravel. So I want to get a little bit into the game. Tomorrow, we're going to do 2 shows. We're going to do one at around 11, from probably 11 to 1. And then we're going to do another one probably from around 5 or 5:30 till about 8 or 8:30. There's a lot to unpack here. I mean, there are interviews going on. I want to go back and look. I already listened to Dak Prescott's interview tonight. I want to go back and listen to Jerry Jones. I definitely want to go back and listen to Mike McCarthy. I want to listen to CeeDee Lamb. I've been checking out Twitter. I mean, there is so much chit chatter about the Dallas Cowboys right now. I mean, they are major, major news. So I want to sift through all of that before I really get to talking. We'll go through some of those interviews over the next 2 to 3 days, and then we're going to be on to the next game. I want to hear what's going on with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and the MRI. But I guess I want to start from, I think a good place to start about this game, and then we'll move from here, and y'all help me move. We'll move from here. But I think one of the first issues that happened this week was the Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons thing. Ill-advised, immature, not thinking, stupidity. Then we get the issue with Ezekiel Elliott. All of a sudden, Ezekiel Elliott is a healthy scratch. And the reports are already starting to come down about Ezekiel Elliott. And, people let this thing about liking Ezekiel Elliott get in their head. And at the end of the day, I want y'all to understand something about Ezekiel Elliott. We may not realize it, but some of this mentality, some of this lack of concentration, some of this lack of knowing where you're supposed to be, all of these things you've heard Dak Prescott talking about, I would have never imagined. But one of the people he was talking about was Ezekiel Elliott. Jerry Jones brought Ezekiel Elliott to this team to be a leader, to solidify the locker room, to even be in a mentor role in the sense. And now we found out Zeke has not been doing any of that. They're talking about Zeke's been late to meetings. They're talking about Zeke's been arguing with the coaching staff. And I remember Clarence Hill saying that Zeke has not been a distraction, and that's exactly what Zeke was. Zeke is not doing any of the things that he was supposed to do. And I absolutely agree with Calvin Watkins. And I said this when they first did it. Bringing Ezekiel Elliott back was a mistake. And I want to really get us to hone in, because I'm telling you, this has some things to do with the game. I'm telling y'all, the more I hear, the more I realize the Rico Dowdle situation, where Rico Dowdle, they can tell me he was sick, the chills and everything else. No, this had everything to do with the chaos going on behind the scenes as it applies to Ezekiel Elliott and this coaching staff. Zeke was one of those distractions. And this team is constantly distracted. And it is unreal. I've been watching. You think about this. You watch the other 31 teams. I'm watching teams play. And I'm evaluating. I'm watching how they're calling plays. I'm watching how they're executing plays. I'm watching how they're playing defense. And people can say what they want to, but Troy Aikman was unequivocally right when he said, when you put the tape on and you look at other teams and then you look at the Dallas Cowboys, you're not looking at the same thing. You're not. There's something inherently wrong. And now it's also coming down the wire. There's a reason. See, I've been saying this. There seems to be something either going on between Mike and Jerry, or there's something going on between Mike and Jerry. They're either at each other or they're in cahoots. And now I'm starting to realize, y'all remember I've been talking about this week? Who is Mike McCarthy talking to? Why does Mike McCarthy keep saying we need to stick with the run? We need to do this. Who is he talking to? I think Mike McCarthy's talking about Jerry Jones. I think he's talking about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones wanted Zeke back. And we're seeing, now watch this. It's being reported that the running back Adams from the Green Bay Packers that's currently with the Minnesota Vikings and still doing damage, it's being reported that Mike McCarthy wanted Jerry Jones to bring him on. He wanted Jerry Jones to bring him on. And Jerry Jones didn't bring him on. Mike McCarthy didn't want Ezekiel Elliott. He didn't want no part of Ezekiel Elliott. And what does Jerry Jones do? Jerry Jones said that Adams' $7 million salary was too much, and he brought back Ezekiel Elliott anyway. Now, I want y'all to keep all of what I'm saying in your mind, because I'm putting you in the psyche of the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm going to lead this all up into what happened today and what's been going on this season. I think we're watching Mike McCarthy, knowing he's on the last year of his deal. Jerry Jones hasn't given him a deal. Jerry Jones not giving him players. Y'all might not realize this. We're talking out of both sides of our mouth. The whole world is calling for the firing of Mike McCarthy. But we got to ask ourselves something. Has Jerry Jones actually given Mike McCarthy anything to work with? If you want a certain running back and he won't give you the running back, but he want to give you the running back he wants. And I know we're saying, well, work with what you have, because I've been saying that. Work with what you have. But you might not realize it. But people get tired of that. Y'all know who else got tired of that? Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn got tired of Jerry Jones. Dan Quinn, similar to Mike McCarthy, was upset with Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones would not get him Bobby Wagner. Guess where Bobby Wagner is now? Bobby Wagner is playing for the 7-2 Washington Commanders, and he is still being productive. According to Stephon Gilmore, Dan Quinn sabotaged the Dallas Cowboys last year in the playoffs. Isn't it strange that the Dallas Cowboys at no point last year, up until that Green Bay debacle in Dallas, at no point that Dallas Cowboy defense looked that bad. At no time did it look that bad. Stephon Gilmore says he didn't understand it. Dan Quinn changed up his entire defense in a week. And if you look at the circumstances surrounding that Washington job, Dan Quinn needed to get out of Dallas and get out of Dallas in a hurry to get that job. And I'm looking at Mike McCarthy tonight. Y'all might not realize it, but Mike McCarthy to me looks like a man who is defeated. Y'all think that Mike McCarthy is inept? I've said it this week. I'm sorry. I'm not giving Mike McCarthy the dumb card. I'm not giving Mike McCarthy the dumb card. Mike McCarthy is really starting to make me wonder, is he trying to get fired? And you know what made me really wonder if Mike McCarthy was trying to get fired? CeeDee Lamb lands awkwardly on his shoulder and is injured. The game, I'm thinking, is 27-13. Fourth quarter. Pretty much out of reach. Cooper Rush is in the game. Y'all miss me with Cooper Rush. He ain't bringing nobody back. He's a solid backup. But if he was a solid starter in this league, as starved as this league is for quarterbacks, y'all can miss me about Cooper Rush because he would not be on the Dallas Cowboys. Mike McCarthy still was allowing CD Lamb to be in the game and allowed him to be in the game 27-19 on a 2-point conversion as if this team is going to come back on the Falcons. Really? Really? Y'all tell me what you think. But one thing you're not going to do, if I'm the GM, you're not going to play with the money. You're not going to let one of the players get an injury. And rather than you sending him to the tent, you're going to continue to let him play and risk further injury. Who knows what's going on with CeeDee Lamb? Now him and Dak Prescott both need an MRI. You're not playing with the money. You're not playing with the money. And I am just wondering, is some of this what we're watching Mike McCarthy doing what Stephon Gilmore said Dan Quinn did last year, and maybe Mike McCarthy is trying to get fired? Why not? He can sit at home and still get his paycheck. It's not like if he gets fired, he doesn't get the paycheck. Have y'all not figured out Dan Quinn was tired of Jerry Jones not getting players, Jerry Jones not doing anything in free agency, Jerry Jones trying to work through the draft? And if we're really being honest with ourselves, as good as the Dallas Cowboys draft, their last 2 drafts really haven't been all that good. They haven't. BB is awesome. Tyler Guyton got some work to do. Tyler Guyton actually needed to work to probably be behind somebody for a while. We got a lot of players we're giving opportunities. But these players, they're hit and miss, and it's not their fault. Because the reality is, if they were really starters, bona fide starters, they would have already been starters. And Jerry Jones, do y'all hear him? Jerry Jones is still singing the praises of, we like the players we have. What's going on, Danny? Yep, I watched the game today. Another bites the dust. Season is over. Gregory says, Riders of the Storm, forever Dallas. I'm with you. Queen says, as Cowboys fans, we were hopeful, but as time went on, we knew our season was not going to come to close to last season. Danny says, bring on Ben Johnson coordinator. Cut Guyton, Mozzie Smith also. Rudolph says, I like Dak Prescott. He need a running game. No doubt. Rudolph says, Dak Prescott to me is losing confidence. This is a regular situation. Now, y'all remember I did a video last week. I'm telling y'all what we're watching. Dak Prescott has no confidence in this franchise. He got 2 of his defensive players on a podcast giving top 10 quarterbacks, not putting them in the top 10. Don't even make an exception and say our quarterback is number 1 to us, so this is everyone outside of Dak Prescott. Ezekiel Elliott, who y'all might not realize this, but Dak Prescott signed off on Ezekiel Elliott coming back. He made that clear on the post game when they interviewed him for I think it was the Pittsburgh game. I think it's the Pittsburgh game. And Dak was asked about bringing back Zeke, and he said, yeah, I thought it was a good idea. Gregory from Texas says Zeke's 149ers this year has him skipping 3 meetings this week. Zeke been clowning. They said Zeke has been habitually late to meetings. Habitually late. What's going on, Roger? Not just late to meetings. Skipping, I heard. Zeke been tripping. Folk been running around here speaking up for Zeke, not understanding. Zeke up in here clowning. Richard said they should have tried Trey Lance instead of Rush. Y'all might not remember this, but I said this either Friday or Saturday. I said if Dak gets hurt, I give Cooper Rush 2 games, and Trey Lance going to be in that thing. You know why? I will not pay Trey Lance $5 million to be behind Cooper Rush. I'll pay him $5 million with the understanding that he ain't going to be that he's not going to be in front of Dak Prescott. But I refuse to let Trey Lance back up Cooper Rush making $5 million. You better get in that game. If we find out in this MRI that Dak Prescott's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks, I bet I couldn't be the GM, because I promise y'all, Trey Lance won't be backing up Cooper Rush for no $5 million. Not for me, he won't. Ricky Ruffin says, social media champions. You better believe they are. I'm giving that to you. Zeke is not doing a good job as a leader. He's a part of the problem. He's a part of the problem, y'all. And I am literally, you know what? I'm not shocked that Zeke was not quite as effective as maybe Jerry thought he was going to be. But where I am shocked is that Zeke came back from the New England Patriots and he has not been the leader. Roger said they couldn't have tried Trey Lance because he wasn't activated. That's right. He's the emergency quarterback. That's why I say give it 2 games. Give it 2 games. You might see Trey Lance against, I think we got Philadelphia coming up next. And maybe Washington after that. I might even just give him Philadelphia. If Philly spank the Cowboys, I bet you Trey Lance play that next game. Because I will not let him back up, not for that. I won't let this man back up for $5 million. I won't let him do it. Richard said, thank you, Jerry. Maybe it's time to retire. Let someone else deal with the trades. I'm about to hit you with something. I'm going to take you even further. Jerry Jones wants all the power. Mike McCarthy and any coach would be handicapped. Y'all might not realize something, but I'm telling y'all, I believe we're watching Mike McCarthy fight Jerry Jones. I believe we're watching Mike McCarthy fight Jerry Jones. Gregory says went to zone defense in the playoff game. Hadn't done it all year. Did y'all hear something that the announcer said tonight? He said the Dallas Cowboys went back to playing man-to-man. Hadn't done that since Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn loves man-to-man. Went to a zone defense in the playoffs? You got to give your team who've been playing man-to-man and all these exotic blitzes and stuff, you got to give them a couple of games to do that. You're going to switch them up no. You know what? Dan Quinn was tired too. Dan Quinn saw that opportunity, get that Washington job, took it. Purple Soul says, I never wanted to believe that, but about DQ, but man. Oh, I believe it. But let me ask y'all this. I truly believe he threw that game. But I'm going to ask y'all this. Do you blame him in a weird way? Do you blame him? We're talking out of both sides of our mouth. I don't care what anyone says. We're saying, fire Mike McCarthy. That's all I keep hearing. Fire Mike McCarthy. There's no way you ought to have a job on Monday. Well, what has Jerry done to help him out? What has Jerry done to help him out, y'all? You need players. You need players. You need them. And Jerry let go of a lot of depth on this team. He let go of a lot of depth on this team and didn't do anything to replace it. Oh, yes, Purple Soul. That fake punt was stupid. Jerry says Mike isn't trying to get fired. He's kneecapped by Jerry Jones. Jared, I'm going to tell you this. It sounds like there's something not right. Because what we watched from Mike McCarthy tonight, and he still has a job, something isn't right. Because most coaches wouldn't have a job after tonight. They would not have a job having a $60 million quarterback and a $30 million wide receiver. And most people would be saying, no, you're going to win some games. Most teams would also still put some players around them. But you still got to be thinking, what is going on? Michelle said, yes, Mike is trying to get fired. But the way Jerry Jones said, he isn't letting anyone go, even the coaches. I'm telling us, Jerry told us. See, watch this. Tell me this isn't a conundrum. What if Mike is trying to get fired? And Jerry Jones is being so vindictive, but I'm not going to fire you. I'm not going to fire you. If you're going to leave this team, you're going to walk off this team, Mike. And Mike is saying, well, if you're going to keep me on this team, I'm going to keep calling stupid plays like that fake punt. It's like we're watching a war between these guys, and it's absolutely crazy. Purple Russ said, I think Zeke's behavior is only symptomatic of the larger internal issues. Respect and professionalism is lacking all around. Calvin Watkins is right, and I agree with him. I said before, they should have never bought Zeke back. That was the problem. You brought Zeke, you brought him back and you made him promises. I'm telling y'all, I believe they made him promises. I believe Jerry Jones made him promises, but it's coming out. Mike McCarthy didn't want Zeke. So I know Mike McCarthy didn't make him no promises, but I think Jerry did. And that's why when Zeke went and cried to the media, he was starting against the Detroit Lions. Dak said on the sidelines, you know what, I'm going to hold. It looks like that's what he said to me. It looked like he said that to me too. But I'm going to hold final judgment until somebody asks him about it. Because no one asked him about it tonight. But I want to see if someone asks him about it. What's going on, Dan? Mike not trying to get fired. He doesn't have a talent on the field. But even with everyone back and healthy, the team is still not good enough. But Dan, watch this. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth too. Jerry hasn't done anything to help out Mike. But Mike, in some situations, isn't doing anything to help out Mike either. I do not understand some of this stubbornness going on with Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy, out of the bye week last year, this dude came out on fire. He didn't do that this year. His play calling is still not creative enough. It's like Mike just can't figure it out. He's still running the same old West Coast offense from 30 years ago. Purple Soul, you're right. Dax keep mentioning the lack of professionalism from guys on the team and the pressers. I would have never imagined one of those guys he was talking about was Zeke. Jared Thomas says, is Dak Prescott eyeing his departure from this Cowboys franchise? Never. I'm going to tell y'all something. People don't understand. Dak Prescott loves the Dallas Cowboys. It only makes sense. He loves the Dallas Cowboys. He loves them. What's up, Danny? He said, yes, I blame him because Dak loves the Dallas Cowboys. He's not going anywhere. Y'all got to tell me this. Why would you put a no trade clause in your contract unless you absolutely love that team? Dak loves the Dallas Cowboys. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. He loves it here. Purple Soul, yes, I do, because he owed those guys more than that. Bump Jerry. Mr. Costa, what's going on? He says, it's never a good thing when the owner does not let the coach do what he wants to do. Coach his team the way he wants to. And that's why I'm saying, it's like, man, I'm even conflicted because I'm like, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I mean, I see the ineptness in Mike McCarthy's play calling, but I'm going to tell you something about the West Coast offense, and this is why I'm like, you know what, Mike, there's something wrong with you. Because the West Coast offense, I said it yesterday, it's based upon not only the quick, short passing game. You know what else is the same? What is based upon? It's based upon having super studs all the way across the line. I mean, absolute super stud. You got to have a 1. You got to have a 1A. You got to have a 2. I mean, you got to have a dynamic tight end. You got to have a super versatile running back like a Roger Craig. I mean, that defense, for it to be that offense, if you're going to run it as vanilla as Mike McCarthy is running it, that means that you're saying we're so talented that we can line up and run this offense all day long, but there's nothing you can do because you don't have enough talent on defense to match all the talent we have on offense. That's not us. That's not us. And the part I don't understand is Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy knows that we don't have that. We don't have that. I think the Cowboy fans have snapped. Some of them have, man. I'm looking on Twitter and everything else. Some of them snapped, not me. Like this video, just saying, appreciate you, Gregory. Not me. Man, we're 3-5. I'm not going to declare it's over for the Dallas Cowboys unless they go 3-8. Unless they go 3-8. I'm not going to declare it's over for the Dallas Cowboys. And they got to have that same mentality in their mind until we hit 3-8. And I would dare say, unless we hit 3-9. 3-9 even. And even at 3-9, you better be watching the standings. Because the same thing that's happening to you can start happening to somebody else. This is why you play the game. And one of the things that I hate about this team and I hate about this fan base, The media is so against this team. The media banks so hard on the failure of this team for its content, for its clicks. They love it. And they're going to write every sensational article. They're going to have every insane take. They're going to be saying every ludicrous thing they can about the Dallas Cowboys. Watch this. All these great teams, all these teams winning. Washington Commanders. The story of Joe Flacco, again, coming back, doing it again. I'm not sure. I didn't watch whether or not he won tonight. But Joe Flacco out there still slinging it. There are so many different great stories going on in the NFL right now. And you know who they're going to focus all of their media attention on tomorrow? The Dallas Cowboys. That's what's wrong with this team. That's what's wrong with this team. And it just makes me wonder if Micah Parsons is going to parade himself out there tomorrow and he's going to do the edge on the Bleacher Report. Richard, you're saying something. It seems like these players in the crossfire between Jerry and Mike. Dak is frustrated. Dak is watching this. I watched Dak's press conference tonight, post-game press conference. He was talking about he hopes things get better, and this will lead to things getting better for Zeke. Yeah, like Zeke's in a mental institution or something. I wouldn't be surprised if Zeke gets cut. I wouldn't be surprised. Ian said it is over. Need Jerry to step down, period. This is all Jerry. Yep. All these players with jewelry, stupid haircuts, tattoos, it's all nonsense, not football. Everyone pulling muscles, please. Can we call for the job of the strength and conditioning coach? How does this man still have a job? This man should be on a separate charter plane tonight. He shouldn't even be allowed to fly back with the team. Dak Prescott. I'm hoping that it's not as serious as some may think it is. He has a hamstring. I listened to him today. I listened to him in his post-game conference, and Dak said, if possible, he's going to try to play next week. Because people are saying you got a fractured finger or hand, and he's going to be out. Yeah, it's not what they're reporting. We'll see tomorrow. But it seemed like to me they were not as concerned about the hand as they were concerned about the hamstring. Because Dak said he felt something pop. The real deal, Darryl said, the Cowboys team is a hunk of junk. Jerry's not going to step down as GM because he owns the team. But let's ask ourselves, is this team a hunk of junk because they're junk, or are they a hunk of junk because of this nonsense that's going on between the owner and the coach? This is messing with this whole team, man. This is messing with this whole team. McCarthy sucks and he is trash. And I'm going to agree with you, Queen and King, but guess what? We're still talking out of both sides of our mouth. That West Coast offense is, and where I fault him, is that he has to recognize he doesn't have those super studs across the board. He just doesn't have them. And when you don't have those super studs, then Mike needs to say, well, let me get creative and get these guys open. And it was funny tonight. They were trying to do everything they could do with Kevontae Turpin. It's almost like they listened to me. I said I would keep Kevontae Turpin in motion the whole night. Well, they tried. They did. But y'all remember what I said? Kevontae Turpin is not a traditional wide receiver. He's a gadget guy. So you got to be careful what you're allowing him to do. And if you're going to play him like a traditional wide receiver, he's going to disappoint you because he's showing us again. Kevontae don't have the hands that we thought he did. Kevontae dropped passes again tonight. He dropped passes again tonight. Jared says Dak Prescott's a fighter to the end. Yes, but he's been looking incredibly frustrated and defeated. He's trying not to let go of the rope. And he's doing a lot of pressing, Jared. He's doing a lot of pressing. And that's what people don't realize. That's why Dak's been making these mistakes. But I was proud of him tonight, and we're going to look at this box score. I was proud of him this afternoon. Dak was a lot more patient. Dak was a lot more patient. He was letting the game come to him. He was getting in a rhythm. I like how they came out. They did some up-tempo stuff. It's like they were listening to everything I was talking about on Saturday. They started letting Dak cook. Only problem is, again, no conversions down there in the red zone. Got him in trouble again. Gregory said Mike McCarthy has been handicapped since the day he signed the contract. He's never had a leg up, but he's never done anything to help himself. It's both sides of our mouth, isn't it? We understand his plight, But then we don't understand his stubbornness. And now it still makes me wonder, how much control does he have? Net Daddy says, love them boys. Keep Dak, Zeke, Mike, and Jerry, please. Man, you gonna get fought by folk. Nat says Dak is him. Ian says, can you imagine Jimmy Johnson type discipline now? I bet you McCarthy's offense will work then. It's not the coach, it's Jerry. I'm telling you something. I'm not going to be surprised if they bring Mike McCarthy back next year and take away the play calling. Now, what I will be disappointed with is if they take away the play calling and keep Brian Schottenheimer and let Brian Schottenheimer be the play caller. I think that would be a mistake. I would like for them to bring Ben Johnson from the Detroit Lions to be the offensive coordinator. But if we're going to try to move the way of discipline, I would not bring Bill Belichick here unless I'm going to literally turn the team as far as coaching decisions on the field. I'm going to give him the same leeway I gave Jimmy Johnson, that I'm going to let you run the team. But I'm going to tell him something, but with one caveat. You got to bring Josh McDaniels with you. Josh McDaniels is a horrible coach. Master play caller. Master play caller with Bill. Bill keeps him in line real good. Keep giving your money to the Jones family for a crap product. Well, you know, people are kind of caught in a catch-22 with the Dallas Cowboys, you know, Net Daddy, because they just love the Dallas Cowboys. They do. Ian says fans need to boycott. Stop paying Jerry, or we won't change till Jerry drops dead. For every person who says they won't go to the game, there's somebody else waiting on your ticket. They love the Cowboys so much they'll go for the experience. There are diehard fans out there. They'll take your ticket. They'll take your seat. I promise you. What's going on, Nisi? What's going on? The real deal, and then I'm going to go I want to look at the box score. The real deal says, do you have faith in this front office to right the ship? Nope. But I do in the players. I think if they can find a way to just kind of stabilize themselves, I think they can really buckle down and win the game. Because I'm going to show you something that Jerry Jones is starting to tease us a little bit. And this is why I'm telling y'all, to me, it ain't over. It ain't over yet. Now, other folks, they can say it, but it ain't over to me. Joseph Terrell says Dak suck less. Shenard says, definitely, Jerry has his hand on this. The Zeke thing will come out, and it's trickling out. It is. It's coming out. And that's one of the things people may not realize. The whole Ezekiel Elliott thing is one of the things that hurt the team. Unfortunately, because of Jerry and Micah, at least no other GM is out on the locker room. Yeah. The real Daryl says, Ian, you do realize the opposing fans will buy the tickets at Jerry World. Better believe they will. You better believe they will. People be waiting on those tickets. All Mike needs to be is fired. And I don't think Jerry's going to do it. I don't think Jerry's going to do it. Now, what I won't be surprised at is if Jerry was to come out and say Brian Schottenheimer is going to be the play caller. But I don't think he's going to fire him. I don't think he's going to fire him. I simply can't get my head around not trying to get Derrick Henry. Me neither. There has to be another motive for not doing anything to help this team this year. Can you say rebuild? Watch this. Do y'all know that if this team finishes 3-14, Jerry wins? Do y'all know that this means that Jerry and the Dallas Cowboys will actually be able to probably do some things in the draft because they will literally be at the top of every round of the draft? I think one of the things that Jerry is tired of is drafting so far down in the draft because he knows he's not going to do anything in free agency, but he knows that he's also got a good enough quarterback, a good enough wide receiver. He's got a good enough Michael Parsons piece. He's got some things here to that if he could just get in the draft and get the players that he wants. Jerry, I believe, wants to get in that top 10. Because if he can get in that top 10, then he can build this team exactly how he wants it. A whole bunch of young players around Dak Prescott. And so you got to realize, man, Jerry wants to get in that top 10. And if the Cowboys go 3-14, boy, the draft picks they're going to have. Michelle Pitt says Trayvon Diggs should not be on anyone's podcast the way he's been playing lately. I'm going to get to him. Oh, yeah, we got some words for him. Nisi says the body goes as the head. Yep, I talked about that today. Turpin is a gadget. Need true playmakers, not Jag. Yep. Yep, and they trying to play him like a traditional wide receiver. Can't do it. Eric, not believing you. Can't go with that. Cooper Rush, because if Cooper Rush was better than Dak Prescott, why is he still on the Dallas Cowboys? They let Cooper Rush go out there and try to get a deal. Why didn't nobody get him? The Raiders went with their quarterbacks. They went with Gardner Minshew. And what's the kid named O'Donnell? And Cooper Rush was available? Come on. Y'all got to miss me. These NFL scouts are smarter than we are. If Cooper Rush was better than Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, there is no way he's on this team because of Dak Prescott, and it was already being reported that the teams thought Dak Prescott was going to hit the open market, and they were salivating. Dak was getting that $60 million, whether it was going to be from us or someone else. Man, you put Dak Prescott, man, y'all don't understand something. You put Dak Prescott on the Detroit Lions? Man, please. That man, Jared Goff, got it made. Thoughts on Dak getting caught on camera saying we off effing suck? You know what? I wish he would start telling players that more and adding something to it. We need to get it together instead of sucking. That's the problem. Won't nobody say it out loud. We suck. And we got to stop sucking. Nobody will say it out loud. And the owner has bought that mentality in here. Richard says maybe if Jerry backs off of Mike, maybe there's a whole different perspective of him coaching the team and not Jerry. I'm telling us. I'm going to go to the box score and then I'm going to come back here in these comments. But I got a couple of thoughts. Someone mentioned Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is getting torched out there, y'all. He's getting torched out there. When you look at this box score, do y'all realize that Dak Prescott was actually having one of his best games of the season? Dak Prescott was on his way to his best game of the season. Dak Prescott was 18 of 24 for 133 yards. Dak was on his way. Dak was on his way. And then the bottom fell out. This strength and conditioning coach, who is he? And I think because Dak Prescott hasn't been running the whole season. He hasn't been running the whole season. And it's in this game. Y'all notice? Now think about what I told y'all on Saturday why Dak hadn't been running. Because of the way they've been calling the plays, that Dak couldn't run because the only way you're going to run, and this is the way Pat Mahomes do it, when they run those players down the field, their backs is turned to the quarterback. And when the quarterback can see the backs, the defensive backs back turned, when he can see the linebackers back turned or they're on the other side, well, he can just scoot out the other side and run. That's what Dak was able to do tonight. But Dak, it was kind of weird. Dak was on the run more than usual. I mean, it was crazy how much Dak was on the run. And I think because Dak was running more than he's ran the entire season, I think he might have pulled a hamstring. I think that's what's going on. I think Dak may have pulled a hamstring. Now, the problem is with these doggone hamstrings is that they're not the easiest thing to come back from. So I'll be interested to see if he can actually come back from it, because he's still going to need that foot, that leg to throw off of. So, you got to be careful with them hamstrings because they'll get further damage and then you can't do it. You'll be done for the season just based on the hamstring. But I'm pretty sure they're going to give him a lot of treatment, and they'll probably try to get Dak back. Not this game, but they'll probably try to get him the game after, because where I was is that I was concerned that Dak Prescott had broken a finger or something because that hand looked pretty bad. But they didn't say anything about the hand. The MRI they're worried about is the leg, the pop. They're worried about the pop. Rick said hunk of junk ownership and coaching, but we have to live with it as fans. Oh, yeah, we're going to have to ride with it. Nisi says it is the coach. He said in his press conference that they weren't even getting the walkthrough right. Isn't it strange he keeps saying this stuff, Nisi? And every time he keeps saying this, it plays out on the field. I always watch the game from my house in Santa Monica, California. Oh, okay, cool. Cool, man. Cool beans. The Jones philosophies don't work. They don't. They don't. And he's going to have to change, or he's never going to see a Super Bowl in his lifetime again. He's not going to see it. And Dak Prescott isn't the yeller type. But you know what? He said we suck tonight. He said we suck tonight, but I think he's got to get a little bit more vocal. He's got to get a little bit more vocal. Both mics need to go. Dominique, what's up, Dominique? No confidence in the running backs. They are forcing Dak to throw when they let Pollard go and didn't get Henry. Dak can only do so much. Watch this, Dom. But watch this. I told y'all. And Mike McCarthy still didn't do what I said. I mean, it's not like I'm talking. It's not like I'm me and him talking on the phone or anything. But watch this, Dominique. I said yesterday, y'all remember? The Dallas Cowboys will win this game if Mike McCarthy says we're going to run the football. Rico Dowdle, you're running the football 25 times. Do y'all remember when I said that? Rico Dowdle runs it 25 times. Dalvin Cook runs it 10 times. And since Zeke, I was talking about working him in the screen game, doing whatever they need to do to get him involved in maybe some short yardage plays. But they could have done the same thing with Deuce Vaughn. The key to winning this game for the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm telling y'all, if the Dallas Cowboys would have ran this ball, like I said, 25 times, Rico Dowdle, feed him. Dalvin Cook, feed him 10, 15 times. Dak Prescott, you're only going to throw the ball today 25 times total the entire game. I promise y'all, the Dallas Cowboys win. You know how I know this, Dominique? Y'all know how I know this? Feast your eyes on this box score. You want to know why I've been screaming for 3 weeks that Rico Dowdle is the best running back on this team? Why Rico Dowdle, they need to commit to him and let Rico Dowdle take this game? Watch this. Look at this man's box score. Rico Dowdle only ran the ball 12 times for 75 yards. What? 12 times, 75 yards? What? This man ran that on 12 carries. That's literally insane. Hold on a second. Let me see here. Let's look at this. Y'all help me out. What would have happened, y'all? What would have happened had the Dallas Cowboys ran Rico Dowdle 25 times? Like the black Mike Shanahan said. Like the black Kyle Shanahan said. I call myself now the black Kyle Shanahan. What would have happened? Let's see. So, let's divide 75 by 12. Do y'all know Rico Dowdle tonight was running an average of 6.25 yards, 6.25 yards a carry? What? That's literally insane. How do you not run this man 25 times? Do we not realize that if he got 12 and he got 75 on 12, well, if we run him 24 times, how can he not get 150? Dak Prescott isn't running for his life if you say, Rico Dowdle, this is your game. You're going to run the ball 25 times. Rico Dowdle runs for literally 157 or 160 yards. And even if he don't get that, I promise you, Rico Dowdle runs for 125 plus. That's how you win the game. That's how you win the game. Dalvin Cook, Rico Dowdle is tired. Rico Dowdle is tired, Dalvin Cook. We laughing at Dalvin Cook. Do we realize Dalvin Cook was 2 for 8? What? 2 for 8, 4 yards a carry? We give this man 10 carries, he got 40 yards. How do we know he don't break one? How do we know? How do we know he doesn't break one? This is the problem I have with the Dallas Cowboys. I will give them, you don't have the players. I'll agree with you, but I will not agree with you that you can't do what you need to do with what you have. You running around here, Dak Prescott. We wanted to see Dak Prescott. What do you need Dak Prescott running for? He 3 for 30. Okay, whoop-de-doo. What you need him running for? That's why he's not on the field now. Y'all want to know why CeeDee Lamb is hurt? Because again, and this is the problem I have with Mike McCarthy, because he's got to be controlling this. Mike, help me, Mike. You said we need to commit to the run. We need to stay committed to the run. Help me, Mike. Help me. Why won't you stay committed to the run? I'm not into firing coaches, but man, I might have to fire Mike McCarthy on principle. What? You're going to talk about you need to commit to the run. You got a running back that's running 6.25 yards a carry? What? Man, I'd have been giddy on that sideline. I'd have been like, I told Jerry this man is the man. I've been telling y'all for 3 weeks, Rico Dowdle is the best running back on this team. And did y'all notice how he was running when Zeke wasn't on the sideline? Now that they're saying, Rico, you the man, 12 carries, 75 yards, miss me. That's the problem. That's the problem. Dominique, you saying something. Watch this. You said, and Dominique, you said, no confidence in the running backs. Tell me why. Tell me why, Dom. Tell me why. This man ran 12 for 75. Those are not punk numbers. You ran 75 yards on 12 carries. Let me put this into perspective for y'all, because some of y'all don't understand something. Let me put this into perspective for y'all. Y'all remember that some people were saying that Bijan Robinson was going to run for 250 yards? I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all tell me anything y'all want to about Mike Zimmer. I tell you one thing Mike Zimmer did do tonight. I tell you what he did do this afternoon. Let's look at this part of the box score. What? If you'd have told me Bijan Robinson only ran for 86 yards, I'd have said the Cowboys won the game. This, what? 86 yards. 104. What is this? 104, 111. Kirk Cousins was minus 11. Do y'all know that Mike Zimmer held the Atlanta Falcons to 100 yards rushing? Don't give me Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer not out there holding these wide receivers. That's Trey Lance getting torched out there. I mean, no, I'm sorry. That's Trayvon Diggs getting torched out there. I fault him for trusting Trayvon Diggs, but hey, he's supposed to be Trayvon Diggs. You out here on podcast giving your top 10 quarterbacks. Could you give us your top 10 cornerbacks? Because I promise you not in there. This man out here getting torched. But Mike Zimmer, didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all yesterday, Mike Zimmer, the one thing Mike Zimmer gonna do, Mike Zimmer is gonna stop the run. What did he do? Mike Zimmer stopped the run. Didn't I tell y'all, Rico Dowdle, if they will commit to Rico Dowdle, did I not tell you, Rico Dowdle was going to eat? You know why he didn't eat the way he was supposed to? Because Mike silly self didn't give it to him. Take the ball out of Dak's hands until you get that offense sold that you're going to run the ball. And then when they're sold on you running the ball, and now you say, Dak, let's cook. Let's cook. We got them exactly where we want them. They don't know now if we're passing or running. We'll line up in a running formation and we'll pass. We'll line up in a passing formation, we'll run. We got these jokers on the rope. And I'm telling y'all, Dak said it in the press conference. They literally thought they were going to beat the Atlanta Falcons. They looked at the tape and they said, we know we can beat this team. They're soft on coverage. They're not really that good at stopping the run. They're not really that good at rushing the passer. All those things came to fruition. And this is the problem I have with Mike. I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth again. Mike might not have the players, but Mike has the players to do what he need to do, and he won't do it. I'd probably fire him on principle. I tell you now, I'm sitting him down. Mike, can you help me, Mike? Let's have a conversation. Can you tell me why Rico Dowdle went 12 for 75? And you didn't keep feeding him the ball? Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why you only gave Dalvin Cook 2 runs? Can you tell me why Hunter Lipke was barely used in the game? That you can't get creative enough to use Hunter Lipke, who is truly a weapon on this team, if we can figure out how to get him the ball. Can you tell me that, Mike? I'll fire him on principle on this stuff. I can deal. If you're going to tell me we don't have the players, I'm going to push back on you. You say you don't have the running back. You wanted Adams. Okay, cry me a river. But can you tell me why you didn't keep handing the ball to Rico Dowdle? Because he looked about as good as Adams tonight. I'm telling y'all, Dunham, you hitting on something. If they don't have any confidence in the running backs, that's on them. Because Rico Dowdle did his thing. Rico Dowdle did his thing. They didn't give him enough. Shenard, feed Rico all the carries. Come on. Give him the ball. They didn't give him the ball. You can't tell me you can't run, but when you do run, you don't give it to him enough. Rico Dowdle, I'm telling y'all, Rico would have ran for 125, 140, 150 if they gave him the ball 25 times, like the black Kyle Shanahan said. I'm telling y'all. Dak Prescott eats off the play action. Stop it. We don't need Dak Prescott to run. That's why he got a hamstring pull now. He ain't ran all year. All of a sudden now, everybody's saying, we need to see Dak Prescott run. We get these. Okay, you see what you got? You can't just have a man, and Dak got to stop trying to always prove things to people. They asked him tonight. They said, Dak, was your running intentional? Yeah, sort of. Stop it. Play within yourself, man. Stop listening to the people talk. Play within yourself. You do what you know you can do. Don't try to play so everybody say, hey, man, Dak ran the ball. Whoop-de-doo. Now you're not even in the game. It's stupid. That's my problem with Mike McCarthy. This box score is telling us everything we need to know. Everything we need to know. I cannot figure out why is Mike McCarthy so stubborn? Jared, it needs to be studied why people hate Dak Prescott. It needs to be studied. It needs to be studied. Nisi said, Purple Soul, it's horrible. They haven't tried to build from last season. They didn't. But Nisi, we talked about it. Okay, they're not going to give you anybody. So why won't you use what you have? Y'all tell me. Tell me if I'm crazy. Rico Dowdle, tell me I'm crazy. 12 for 75. Can you ask for anything more? Can you ask for anything more from a running back to run for an average of 6.25 yards a carry? Let me look at something real quick. Now my spidey senses are really tingling. Hold on a second. Let me see something here. What I would have pulled up, let's see here. So looks like Minnesota pulled the game out. It looks like Minnesota pulled the game out against the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. So let's see what I'm trying to look at here. Okay. Okay, this dude. Okay, I got his name wrong. Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers. I'm sorry. Aaron Jones is the guy that Mike McCarthy wanted, right? He's now playing for the Minnesota Vikings. Let me give you Exhibit A. They gave the ball to Aaron Jones 21 times. Guess how many yards he got? Y'all ready to have your mind blown? Aaron Jones, 21 carries, 64 yards. Now, I will be honest with you. My worst subject in college was math. But tell me if I'm wrong. Which one of these is better? 21 carries, 64 yards, 3-point yards per carry. Or 12 carries, 75 yards, 6.2 yards a carry. Y'all tell me which one is better, because I'm terrible at math. Which one is better? You wanted Aaron Jones. What were you going to do? Run him in the game? Are you going to use him and run him 25 times like he got ran tonight? Is that what you were going to do? Because even that helped Sam Darnold. You had Rico Dowdle run 12 for 75, and you couldn't keep handing him the ball? This is where I blame Mike McCarthy. This is where I blame Mike McCarthy wholeheartedly. There is no reason that this team shouldn't have been feeding Rico Dowdle. Man, they should have ran Rico Dowdle in the game. They should have ran him in the ground tonight. I would have told Rico Dowdle from the get-go, hey, man, you the man now. You the man. 25 carries, bro. You ready? 25 carries. And they still didn't do what we said to do. They still didn't use the whole field. They still wasn't doing the sweeps. They still were not doing the pitches. And Rico Dowdle was still slicing and dicing. This is where I got the problem. You want to get separation for those wide receivers? Keep handing the ball to Rico Dowdle. Make those cornerbacks start peeking in the backfield. Make those safeties start coming down. Make those linebackers start playing closer to the field. Make them come out of that cover two they love to play. Make them come out of it. You make them come out of it, then you can do some things. You can help your offensive line. You can help your quarterback. You can help your superstar wide receiver. But if you're not going to run the ball consistently, as Mike once again told us in the press conference all week, we need to stay committed to the run. Can y'all tell me, is Jerry Jones calling downstairs telling Mike McCarthy, stop running the doggone ball? It's working too good. That's where I got a problem. That's where I got a problem. And so that's why when you look at this game tonight, you look at this game this afternoon, the Cowboys had every opportunity to win. They had every opportunity. And I think that with the way they were kind of playing, they probably could have won the game. But again, let me go to something Dom is saying, because this is where I want to get back to again. B. Lane said, remember when Elliott got paid and stopped running so hard? I do remember. Watch this. Trayvon Diggs. I'm sorry, y'all. I like Trayvon Diggs. But the way it's going right now, 3-5, I might be trading Trayvon Diggs on Tuesday. I would. You better get something for him now. Trayvon Diggs is getting torched. And I think the problem with Trayvon Diggs, let's not dog him totally. Trayvon Diggs, I agree with you, Dom. This dude's a gambler. And the problem is, now people got to understand something. Deion Sanders could gamble because he had 4.2 speed. When you got 4.2, 40 speed, you can actually bait people, play off, make them think that the guy got the cushion, but he actually doesn't. As soon as you see him cock his arm, you break on the ball. Deion Sanders could recover if you ran past him. If you put a move on and ran past him, no problem. Deion Sanders will catch you. Not only would he catch you, he'd get over the top of you and intercept the ball. Trayvon Diggs is a 4.6 40 guy, if I'm not mistaken. You can't take chances when you run a 4.6 40. Because if you run a 4.6 40 and the wide receiver run a 4.4 or 4.5 and you miss that jam, bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs. People don't want, I don't know what people are going to talk about in the analyzation of the game. But Trayvon Diggs, Mike Zimmer did his part stopping the run. Because if you tell me they only got 100 yards and Bijan Robinson didn't even get 100 yards and they still lost the game, well, what happened? I can tell you what happened. Trayvon Diggs torched him. Torched him. We might as well call him the Human Torch now. Torch this man. He better not get on another podcast talking about anybody's position. This man don't deserve to talk about anybody not being top 10. This man is terrible. It is insane. Players will fall into place if Dak will say publicly, if people will stop talking on podcasts and tackle, we could be better. I'm sorry. If I was Dak, it's nothing to lose. It's nothing to lose. Be the leader. Sometimes you got to be a vocal leader. You do. What's going on, Freddie? You got to be a vocal leader. The real Darryl says, put Dak in Pittsburgh. I guarantee you, we'll strive that culture. You know, that's one of the teams they were saying already was getting ready for Dak Prescott to be free. Could y'all imagine Dak Prescott with Mike Tomlin, a defense, a run game, those wide receivers, that offensive coordinator? Dak would have been eaten. Dak would have been eaten. But he loves the Dallas Cowboys. And people might not believe that, but he does. He loves the Dallas Cowboys. B-Lane says Atlanta has worst pass rush. Yes. And that's why Dak said in the post-game press conference, we thought we were going to be able to beat this team because we knew they really didn't have the pass rush. And guess what? Running Rico Dowdle was really the answer to the question. It was the answer to winning the game. Dak Prescott needs a running game. That's why Detroit went and got Jared Goff, a running game. Do y'all know Sam Darnold has a running game? Because even though Aaron Jones didn't get 100 yards, guess what they netted though? They netted more than 100 yards because they got Cam Akers, 6 for 46, 7.7 yards average. Sam Darnold ran for 14. Jordan Addison ran for 9. So they manufactured that 100-yard rushing. That helps. That helps. And Dak Prescott, he just can't get that. But I'm telling you, the way Rico was running, man, Rico was running with intent. Rico wanted to prove, I'm the man. Give me the ball. But look at this. And we don't really have to look at it, but you think about it. McCarthy did exactly what I said not to do. Dak Prescott was already at 24 throws by the time he went out the game. It's too many. It's too many. If Dak is throwing that much, I know two things. One, you're behind. If Dak throws more than 25 times, I know something. You're behind. I know you're behind. You're playing catch up. And Dak is trying to throw you back into the game. You're trying to get Dak to throw you back into the game. I already know what's going on. If Dak is throwing 25 times, if he's throwing more than 25 times, you're losing. That means you didn't stick with the run. Or your defense has given up back-to-back touchdowns and you keep converting field goals. And Dak and the Cowboys did that tonight. They did that tonight. And the Cowboys, for whatever reason, they just can't seem to convert. They can't. We got in the first quarter, it was 7-3. 7-3 Atlanta. Then we get 10-14, second quarter. Here we go. Here we go. Cowboys start to fall behind. Second quarter, 14-10. Third quarter, the Cowboys get a field goal. Next thing you know, look at this. 13-21 right here. This is when things starts getting out of control. Because Mike McCarthy doesn't have the patience. He doesn't have the patience to keep trying to work the team back in the game. He doesn't have the patience. Then what happens? Look at this. Total deception. You look at this and you think, oh, wow, the Cowboys came back. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't come back. By the time they got that 21 points, I mean, this game is pretty much over. It's a done deal. What's that, a minute and 28? It's over. Stupid, man. Stupid. Mike let this game get out of control because Mike McCarthy doesn't have the patience to do, and man, I'm telling you, I would fire Mike if I heard him say again, we need to stay committed to the run. I'm going to tell him you're fired because you said that and you didn't stay committed to the run. This is Mike McCarthy's problem. He gets pass happy. Look at this. Look at this junk. This is crazy. This is crazy. Ferguson, Really good tonight, 10 targets. Lamb, 12 targets. Turpin, 4. Dowdle, 6. I mean, look at this. Dowdle was cooking again in the passing game. He was cooking in the passing game. 1 touchdown, 32 yards. Dowdle is cooking. People can tell me anything they want to. Dowdle is absolutely cooking. The only reason Dowdle isn't doing more is because we won't let him do more. This is Mike McCarthy's fault. This is Mike McCarthy's fault. And this is where I got the problem with Mike McCarthy. This dude, Dowdle, is cooking. But look at all these passes. Look at all these targets. It's crazy. Crazy work. Too many. It's too many. It's just too many. And it's crazy. It's just crazy work what we are watching. It's crazy work. You got to run the ball. And if Dak Prescott can't play next week, you know what? I don't know what to say. Because if they're going to win another game with Cooper Rush, you definitely better run the ball 40 to 45 times. Because if you let Cooper Rush get in there and do what he did when he took Dak Prescott's place, you stupid. You stupid. If you're going to let Cooper Rush, y'all look at this. Tell me this is not literally insane again. These box scores are telling you everything you need to know. Look at this stupidity. Look how many times Cooper Rush threw the ball. What? He didn't even play as long as Dak, if I'm not mistaken. 25 attempts? You threw the ball 49 times? I'm sorry, 50, but I'm not counting what the punter did. If I'm Jerry Jones, I might would have came down to the sideline and fired Mike McCarthy right then. You call a fake punt on your own 40-ish yard line. And you're not smart enough, Mike, to say, okay, so we're going to call a fake punt. But Anger, make sure, read the gunner. Read the defender. If the defender runs press coverage, if the defender stays with our gunner who's running down the field, if he stays with him, don't throw it, punt it. If he runs away from him, you throw it. This is backyard stuff. They were lucky that wasn't a pick six. Anger couldn't throw a ball to save his life. This is insane. I don't understand Mike McCarthy. That's stupid stuff. Watch this, y'all. Y'all ready for this? Nisi, watch this. We'll let the punter throw the ball who can't throw the ball, but we won't let Trey Lance come in, line up as a wide receiver, throw it to Trey Lance, and let Trey Lance throw it down the field. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. It's absolutely crazy. The Dallas Cowboys threw the ball 40. I'm not counting that punt. They threw the ball 49 times. Now, if you tell me they threw it 49 times, I'm telling you, yeah, I'm pretty sure they lost. They lost. These box scores are telling us everything we need to know about this game. Everything we need to know. And the very reason why I'm so conflicted about Mike McCarthy. I like Mike McCarthy. I understand they didn't get him players. I understand that they didn't work in free agency. But I just can't let Mike slide. I can't let Mike slide when I'm looking at the box score and I'm watching what Rico Dowdle did. I can't let him slide when I'm watching still a lack of creativity on calling plays. I just can't let him slide. And if I'm Jerry Jones, I understand you don't want to fire him. I 100% understand. But Jerry, you got to take the plays away from him. You got to take the plays away from him. You have to stop letting him call plays. You have to. Give the play calling to Brian Schottenheimer, man, for goodness sake. Maybe you can rejuvenate the team. Maybe you can give the team something. Hey, you know what? Oh, got something new. Brian Schottenheimer about to run plays up in here. Jerry, you got to do something. Yeah, Christopher, I saw that. Yeah, those hammies about 4 to 6 weeks. Keely Boy says Dak got paid and it's starting to look like that's all he was concerned. Nah, I disagree with you. Man, Dak frustrated. Dak wants to prove to people he's worth that money. Me and my sons were having that same conversation tonight because they were actually saying, me and my family, one of my family members, they were saying, well, for me, man, I got paid. I can do this and take care of my family and generational wealth. I don't care about no generational wealth. That comes without saying. I'm a quarterback. Of course I'm going to get paid. If I just be top 15, I get $50 million. Man, this ain't about just money, man. This ain't about money. I want the chip and the money. I want the chip and the money. Jared Thomas, I know Dak isn't that type of person. He let Trayvon call him a, yep. Boy, don't let me say that. I almost said something. Robert said, I'm glad I didn't get to see the game today. Yeah, it was tough. Man, our team will not compete this year. Jerry didn't like that loss last year against Green Bay. We are not good. Watch this jump steady. That's one of the places where this started. Jerry got in his feelings so bad. But even then, y'all, understand, that was Jerry's fault too. We had safeties playing linebacker. Dan Quinn said, I'm tired of this mess. Dan Quinn said, I'm out of here. Tired of this mess. I go somewhere where people will let me buy the groceries. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing in Washington. Just like Elliott did when he got paid years ago. Dak isn't like Zeke. Dak isn't like Zeke. Dak's been taking care of his body. Dak is seeing that I can play. Do y'all realize Dak can get another payday? Dak will be 35 when this deal is over. Kirk Cousins is 35. Kirk Cousins got a $185 million deal coming off an Achilles tear and 120 guaranteed. Y'all think that Dak, man, y'all don't understand something. No. Dak is trying to get a chip because Dak understands something. If Dak can get a chip in Dallas, y'all think we talking about Dak Prescott now? Let Dak get a chip in Dallas. Dak will be able to go anywhere in the United States and do anything he wants to. Dak wants that chip. Nisi says, how do you sit in a position for 30 years seeing your cowboy way doesn't work and you still don't change? Because you're your own boss. Because any other GM would be fired in the first 5 years. Jerry Jones been doing it for 30 and won't fire himself. He won't sit down. He won't let nobody else do it. The Cowboys basically outgained the Falcons in every category. But again, it goes without saying that your offense can't average 21 points a game and expect to win. Guess why? Why did they get down to the red zone and stop running? Why did they do it? Why did they get to the red zone, y'all, and stop running? Why? I don't understand it. It don't make logical sense. It doesn't. Why do you stop doing what's working? Why do you stop doing it? Mike McCarthy continues to do this. Oh, my B-Lane. The penalties. Drive killers. Kill drives all day. Drive killers. And Dak Prescott, I've been seeing people talking about Dak not reading. It's not that Dak's not reading. Dak has no confidence in these wide receivers. Dak is predetermining. He has no confidence in the line. Y'all got to understand what happens when you don't have confidence in your line. When your coach won't run the doggone ball. You know what you do? You predetermine where you're going to throw the ball. Dak don't have time to read. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for you folk who think that this offensive line, or you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, you're saying the offensive line is trash, but Dak's not reading the defense. Tell me, how do you have time to read the defense? How do you have time if you don't have time to read the defense? You can't. So you have to predetermine who you're going to throw it to, where you're going to go. And that's going to be a recipe for disaster because typically they'll follow your eyes. Now, what Dak does when he has time, he'll look a person off, go to the left, look a person off, go to the right. Don't have time. So he's predetermining what he's going to do. And Mike McCarthy's play designing is so terrible. I'm telling you, I'm not saying I'm a football guru, but you got to understand how this game works. It doesn't work the way people think it does. People think you get a contract for $60 million and that means you get to do what you want to do now. No, it doesn't. It's X's and O's and Jimmy and Joe's. And if you don't have the X's and O's, you better have a whole bunch of Jimmy and Joe's. You better have super studs if you don't have good play calling, because their athletic ability will overcome any ineptness in play calling. But if you don't have the Jimmy and Joe's, then your play calling need to be above par. And Mike McCarthy has no excuse. If Mike McCarthy would just run the doggone ball, none of this is happening. None of this is happening. Rico's yards per catch was 6.2, which is really good. I mean, yards per carry. I just said it, Daniel. They have no excuse. This dude did exactly what he was supposed to do, and they still didn't feed him the ball. Robert says they need discipline. Yes, they do. There was no way anyone on this team should have been getting up celebrating a mediocre tackle. 52 brands. Trying to build brands. Stupid. Play calling is atrocious. That's it. West Coast offense isn't predicated on the 4 to 6 yard button hooks. You got to have super studs to do what Mike McCarthy's trying to do. But what could really help him in what he's doing is if he would run the doggone ball. Their rush blocking been better than their pass blocking, that's for sure. Poor Guyton can't get out his head on his pre-snap. I said it yesterday. You know how you help a young line? Run the ball. And Rico was running the ball well. This team didn't do this. They didn't do themselves any favors. Atlanta had worse pass rush and got back-to-back sacks. Me and my wife was laughing because I said they get into the Dallas Cowboys and they're only rushing 4. How do you do that? How do you rush 4 and get to the quarterback? You'd have thought they were rushing 6. No, 4. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. And so, but I'm telling y'all, a lot of this could be avoided if they would run the ball. Their defense wouldn't have been on the field. Their defense wouldn't have been on the field to make mistakes. Their offense would have been cooking. They'd have had long drives. They'd have won the time of possession. Y'all remember something I was talking about yesterday? If you run the ball, what do you win? You win one of the most important stats in football, time of possession. You want to win the time of possession, because if you can win the time of possession, that pretty much means you won the game. Look at the time of possession. This isn't good enough. You don't want to be even with the team. You want to dominate time of possession. You want to have 35, 40. I mean, God forbid, but if you can have more than 40 minutes, oh, wow. You more than likely won that game if you got 40 minutes. That means either you got more possessions because your defense got off the field, or you got turnovers, or you had long drives. It's not good enough for the Cowboys to win. If their defense is out